Welcome back, and today's unusual video, because I do make some unusual videos, is about the 1980s restricted 50 market. Now this all's come about in the late 70s after all the bikes were restricted, so the 49cc models were governed to a lesser speed, but it made it a very interesting time because all the manufacturers had to make them more stylish and image conscious. Obviously the braking got better, the technology got better, but the speed didn't. So I'm going to go through the range and hopefully I'll get them all. You can comment below if you think I've got it wrong, as always, and it should be quite interesting. Yamaha's idea, if it wasn't broke, why change it? And it was still selling. So the FS type bike ran right through to 1990. They also made a great sports looking bike in the RD50 and great colour schemes, just a good looking bike. As for off-road, you had two choices. You had the TY and you had the DT. Yamaha also made a chopper type bike, and they made an excellent RD50 MX. When Suzuki discontinued the great AP50, they had to make a new bike and a new engine, and it was the GT50 that came in the late 70s. And this engine is significant because they used it in this, which is the X1 in the early 80s, and in this, the very popular TS50ER, and also in this very rare Suzuki chopper, the ZR, which I've never ever seen. But by the mid-80s, they had to have a completely new model, and it was this, the TS50X, and this was an exceptional bike too. All of these bikes were all good value for money, and they sold very, very well for Suzuki. Unbelievably, in the early 80s, this segment of the market must have been that big, Kawasaki actually started making 50cc's. And they really did make a really good job. And they made a sports version, and a very popular version, called the AR50. And it handled fantastic. It got the right, it just got all the ingredients for a best-selling bike, which I believe it was. And they also made an AE50, which was the off-road using the same engine. And I can't really remember the last time I've seen one of these. And if you own one of these, you're very lucky because they're very, very rare bikes. But like I say, Kawasaki joined the market, and I've never seen a Kawasaki 50 since, but I could be wrong. I know I've just spoke about Kawasaki having no choice, but Honda had a massive choice with their step-through range. I've just put a couple in to show you. But their main sports bike from the period was the CB50J, following on from the SS50. It was a four-stroke and quite a rare bike. But by the early 80s, they started making two-strokes, and that's where they stopped. And they made the MB50, which was a road bike, and the MT50, which was the off-road bike. They also used a lot of sales marketing and promotion to sell the bikes, and they sold bikes in large numbers. And then a bit later in the 80s, they were like full-size motorcycles, and it was the MBX, which was the road bike, and that was followed by the off-road bike, the MTX. All excellent bikes. Obviously the unrestricted bikes were still setting a premium, but if you had to have a newish type bike on a budget, you could choose some of these models here. And some of them are from the Eastern Europe from the time. Some of them are great step-throughs, and they were very popular. And then you also might have liked to be a bit of a mod and have a Vespa 50. I should imagine they were a bit more expensive, but still very, very affordable. And then finally we look at this three-wheeler from Honda, which is quite bizarre, but I'm sure somebody bought them. But anyway, I hope again you've enjoyed the video, and I really appreciate you watching the video, and please like and subscribe and share.